You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for our Black and White Sports 2. Well, you guys know I do these 49er videos a little bit more podcast style, a little bit more podcast friendly. Make sure you go subscribe on podcast. All of our audio from all of our channels are available wherever good podcasts are available. We're going to talk about Christian McCaffrey. I know that trade's been a couple of days ago. I wanted it to sort of marinate. I didn't want to have a quick reaction, a gut, visceral reaction. I guess I understand that's the best for views at the time, but I wasn't where I could make a video when the trade happened. I wanted it to marinate. I will tell you, by principle, I don't love trades where you give up a ton of draft picks. Okay, that's just telling you up front. Like the Trey Lance trade, I hated it. These trades where you give up 5 picks for a quarterback selection, I hate it. In fact, the only trade of that nature that I can think of that has actually worked out in recent memory has been Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. He's been very, very damn good, and he's made a obvious impact on that Miami Dolphins offense down there. So far, that's worked out for the Dolphins. Now, I will tell you, I like Christian McCaffrey a lot. When he is healthy, he is truly an offensive force. But you notice I said when he's healthy, and he's been hurt a lot. And he's a running back. And the 49ers already have issues when it comes to staying healthy, particularly at running back. In fact, today we're getting back, we're getting Trent Williams back, we're getting Nick Bosa back. I know everybody's on the Chiefs today. I got to tell you, I think I got the Niners 30-27 in this game. And I'm not trying to be a homer, but I just got this odd feeling the Niners are going to come in and pull this one off. I truly believe that. So, look, do I understand what the Niners are doing here? They're trying to take a Rams-like swing. There's some people out there that have said, actually, the Rams were about to get him, and part of this was keeping him away from the Rams. They've got issues at running back. They got rid of Cam Akers, I saw the other day. And we've got some word here as to whether or not or how much McCaffrey may actually play. And look, you've made this trade. He's got to get in this kind of game against this kind of opponent. He has to. It's a must. Even if it's red zone, 10 to 12 offensive plays, something like that, maybe like 4 runs, 4 passes, coming out of the flat, make a pass, a couple of runs up the middle. I don't know, but I feel like you have to get him in this game. I understand you get him late in the week, but, the thing is, most NFL plays, a lot of NFL plays on offense and defense are the same plays across the league, but there's different terminology. So in other words, if you've got Spider 2 Y Banana over here, then it may be called Mike Johnson Craig Echo over here. Same play, but the terminology is different, right? Florio did break this late last night. The 49ers plan to use Christian McCaffrey sparingly. Will the plan change? We're also going to talk about Kyle Shanahan a little bit here because there's some things coming out of last week's game. There was a stat out there. It's ugly. It's also pretty jaw-dropping. The prevailing thought has been and continues to be that the 49ers plan to deploy running back Christian McCaffrey on Sunday against the Chiefs on a limited basis. As Sunday approaches, however, an interesting question has arisen. Will the plan change? One source with knowledge of the situation explained to PFT on Saturday night. I'm not going to leap out there and just say it's Chris Sims. The 49ers intend to have McCaffrey on the field for a package of plays against Kansas City, most likely in the red zone. Okay, here we go. The source joked, this probably means he'll get 20 total touches. Wow. But then this point was made. The 49ers may not be able to resist the temptation to utilize McCaffrey more extensively. He's healthy. He's talented. He's working hard to figure out the playbook. And the 49ers may feel compelled to immediately begin getting a return on their 4-pick all-in investment. Coach Kyle Shanahan may want to take it easy once he sees McCaffrey in uniform against a formidable opponent in a game against the team that beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Caution could be thrown to the wind. They already did that in making the trade. It wouldn't be surprised if they do it again on Sunday. So that's the latest. I mean, the latest on McCaffrey as of this moment. Now, let's take a look at this stat that I saw. 49ers are 0-26 under Kyle Shanahan when trailing by more than 4 points after 3 quarters. Only other teams without a win in that scenario since Shanahan arrived in San Francisco in 2017. The Commanders, the Lions, and the Browns. I mean, I saw that, and it was a pretty eye-opening stat. I do know this. There was a drive in the game last week when they were down in the fourth quarter where they ate up 8 minutes on the damn clock. I don't understand because, look, I do think Kyle Shanahan is very good offensively. But I will say this. Boy, they don't score over 20 points much, do they? I'm just pointing that out. You've got a lot of weapons out there. A lot. Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. And I'm sorry, right, wrong, or indifferent, do I think if Josh McDaniels had Jimmy Garoppolo, he scores more than 20 points a game. I just believe it. In fact, I got to be honest with you. Part of me is starting to consider the idea that Kyle Shanahan doesn't cut Jimmy loose enough. You know? And let him throw the ball some. He should have thrown the ball more in the second half of that Falcons game. And somebody said, well, yeah, but he threw the ball this many times and more than normal or whatever. Doesn't matter. You're down. You're down. You got to get out there. You got to line up in shotgun. And you got to start throwing darts around. Plain and simple. You know, I don't know. I think that's an interesting stat. I know that Jim Harbaugh is coming back in the building today. They're honoring some of those really good Harbaugh teams. I think that one that went to the Super Bowl that lost, I miss Harbaugh a lot. I'm a Wolverines fan, so I've kind of had Harbaugh for a long, long time. And I was a huge fan of him. I still think it's a major black eye that Jed York could not get ego aside to satisfy that head coach. Because I've always believed if we'd have kept Harbaugh, we'd have won a Super Bowl. I believe that because I think we would have figured it out. The only blemish I've got with Harbaugh is him going from Alex Smith to Colin Kaepernick. That's my only blemish, but that defense would have stayed good, and that running game would have stayed good. And I know they went 8-8, but I think he would have reloaded. Okay, it was ridiculous. There was an obvious feud between the owner, and I looked at some stats between Shanahan and Harbaugh, and it's not even close. I mean, Harbaugh was by a mile the better wins and losses coach than Kyle Shanahan's been. And, you know, we talk about him being an offensive guru, Shanahan, but they don't score a lot of points, you know? And when he gets down, he seems to keep playing the same game plan, and there's not a lot of adjustment there later in the game. Okay? He's still going, you know, by the approach, zone running scheme, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, at some point you got to line up in the shotgun, realize you're down by 14, and start slinging the ball. You just do. You got too many weapons out there to not figure out how to get them. And look, can we muddle huddle? The one thing that somebody like Josh McDaniels will absolutely do, he will go no huddle and just go. And he's had a lot of success, I understand he had Brady. And the one thing that's lost in this stat that I do want to bring up, there was a lot of C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins in there too. Okay, so yeah, that needs to be said. That needs to be acknowledged. So in a way, the stat is somewhat skewed because of that. But that's also the backup quarterbacks you chose. All right. Do I think this puts the 49ers like over the top? The 49ers the last few years is really strange in the fact that, do you notice they're always one of these teams that it seems like no matter what their record is, as long as they've got their starting quarterback and Shanahan's there, you see a lot of power rankings that still put them in the top 10. I mean, I think everybody looks at this team and they go, wow, from a roster standpoint, this team is loaded. A lot of injuries, but this team's loaded. At what point do we start wondering, is this team underachieving with this talent? I don't know. John Lynch had to supposedly give his scouting department a pep talk because they ain't got no picks. And I don't know. It's a bold move. I understand. I guess they believe they can win now. But I think for this move to be successful, you got to have a deep playoff run. And then you're going to have to make a decision about Jimmy G. Unless another quarterback that is blatantly better is presented next year, blatantly better, then you've got to re-sign him too, okay? You can't roll out the same roster with Christian McCaffrey next year with Trey Lance. I think that Trey Lance ship has totally sailed. I truly believe that. So this only works if you get a minimum of the rest of this year and all of next year healthy out of McCaffrey and real production. Yeah, when he's totally healthy, I mean, there was one real Marshall Faulk-like season with McCaffrey. But just by general principle, I do not like massive draft pick trades. I don't. F them picks. There's a lot. Look, the Niners have built a very good roster off of second, third, fourth, fifth round guys. You got to give John Lynch some credit for that. And this feels like a Kyle Shanahan trade. It just does. And at some point, we have to start questioning his overall record. Things like this in the fourth quarter. You're supposed to be an offensive guru. Why is the offense still running at regular speed when you're down by so many points? Your offense has to be able to flip a gear into urgency. You do. I don't know. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 supporters. I do have the Niners winning this game. 30-27, actually. I think it's in San Francisco. If it was in Arrowhead, no, I'd be picking the Chiefs today. I can tell you that. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.